Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I'm stitchywitch42 here on FlossTube and over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross-stitch life, the universe, and everything. And I want to tell you up front that you may hear weird sounds coming from outside the house. I have no control over them because they are doing road improvement directly in front of my house and in front of my neighbor's house. And so there has been the excavator going back and forth. I love it when the excavator uses the bucket and thumps the ground to break the asphalt because it makes my whole house shake. My house is 100 years old. It's old. It doesn't need to be knocked down. But right now I hear this thrumming sound outside, and I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but if you hear construction noises, you hear them. There you go. Today is Thursday, the 10th of August, 2023. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since I've done a video, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched my last video. It got quite a few more views than I normally get, so thank you for that. The comments that all of you left about this, how supportive all the comments were that were left. Thank you so much. You have absolutely no idea how much that means to me. I still don't feel good. I was upstairs recording another video because somebody asked for a flip through of the journal that I made, and I was trying to find things up there to do it, and took much longer than I thought it would. But I got it done, and I will add it at the end of this video. So I have a bunch of things to share. I have a couple finishes to share with you, and the first one I think is just the funnest thing ever. So I have to walk away from my camera here. Pause. Okay, I'm back. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that my friend Stacy, Postal Stitcher, sent me a thing. A 3D printed thing. And I was trying to decide what to do with it. Well, I had gone up to Acorns and Threads, not this month, but last month, and I was asking the ladies there how to make felted wool balls to make pincushions out of them. I had found a package on Amazon that has 96 3-ounce packs of wool roving in 48 different colors. So there's 2 of each color here. I got this for $25. This is not the bag it came in. I put it in a Ziploc bag. But I figured with all of these colors here, I could come up with something to use for my pincushion, for my thing. I will link the video down below that I used for creating my pincushion, because I used, after talking with the ladies at Acorns and Threads, I decided that I was going to use the wet heat method to create my pincushion. So I started working on my thing, and I had grabbed 4 colors of acrylic paint to paint him. I chose a white, a tan, a dark stormy gray, and a celery green. And I got him painted, and I was letting him dry, and I was starting to work on creating this wool felt pincushion. You'll see when I show thing. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I have to tell you about some conversations that I had while I was creating this wool felted pincushion. First of all, watching this woman's video, she took water, warm water, added some dish soap to it, and you put the roving in there, you get it wet and you manipulate it and you're working it and you're starting to create the beginning of the pincushion, the ball shape. And as you need to add more roving, you put it in the water and you get it wet and you manipulate it and you start wrapping it around until you get it to the size that you want. Well then, according to her video, you take an old pair of pantyhose, tie a knot in one end, work the ball down to it, tie a knot right next to it. I don't have any pantyhose. So I sent my daughter a text message and I said, do you have any pantyhose? And her reply was, are you robbing a bank? I plead the fifth. Next, I tried texting both of my granddaughters. They're 15 and 16. They might have pantyhose, but neither of them did. So then I thought to myself, I should text my son Philip and ask him. So I sent him a text. I said, weird question, do you have any pantyhose? And I put the phone down and it rang almost immediately. It was my son. And he goes, why would I have pantyhose? And I said, well, because you play Dungeons and Dragons and other board games and you've made little figurines and painted them for your games that you and your roommates play, and pantyhose could be used in a crafting scenario like I want to use it for, and if you do have them, there's no judgment here. And he goes, no judgment? And I said, yeah, no judgment. It's all good. Do you have any pantyhose? And he goes, no, Mom, I don't. So what am I going to do? I was thinking, and upstairs I had some netting, and I thought I could try using that. So I went and cut a piece of netting in a rectangle, brought it downstairs, took my wet, soapy blob of roving that I had on the kitchen counter, rolled it up in this netting and tied a knot on either end of it, and according to the video I was watching, put it into my dryer for half an hour. While it was drying, I'm still working on some of the details on thing, and I get a phone call from my husband. And he said, I want it to go on record that the last phone call I ever make to you, I said I loved you. And I said, what? Why would this be your last phone call to me? Because his company put him in a truck that had buttons and knobs and gears and this and that and things that he didn't know, he'd never worked with before, and they were sending him out in the middle of nowhere, and in case he didn't come back, he wanted it on record that he said he loved me. Okay. So I hang the phone up, I go out and I get this ball out of the dryer. It's now hot and still wet, and I take it into the house to try to figure out what else is going on when my phone rings again from my husband. This time it was a butt dial. I knew this as soon as I answered my phone, and I could hear him talking on the radio in his truck to another driver, and I could hear the background sounds of the truck, and I called his name. Mark! Mark! Can you hear me? And I know he can't because it's a butt dial and he's in the truck talking on the radio and the truck is making loud noises. So I'm having some fun and I'm going, Mark! Are you calling from the beyond? Don't go towards the light. Mark! Mark! And I hung up. He's never going to hear this. So I sent him a text telling him what I did. Go back to this ball of hot, still wet wool roving that I've just taken out of the dryer. I'm now in the kitchen. I see the microwave and I think to myself, the dryer heats from the outside in, and she said that when you finish drying it, it's still going to be damp on the inside and you don't want to put any pins in it right away because they could rust. if I put it in the microwave for a few seconds, the microwave cooks from the inside out, so maybe that would help the inside to dry a little bit faster. So what the heck? I went and put this wet blob of roving in the microwave, hit 30 seconds, stood there and watched, and about 10 seconds in, I'm seeing bubbles coming out of this wet blob of roving in my microwave. So I turned the microwave off and I took it out and set it on the counter. Now it's really hot. Took the plate out of the microwave, washed it off, put it back in the microwave, went and took that ball back out to the dryer, put it in the dryer for another 30 minutes. When I went out and checked it, it was much, much drier. I then brought it inside, grabbed some chopsticks, and I worked it down into the top of Thing. Would you like to see Thing? I love him. This is my thing. This is a 3D printed thing that, again, Stacy Postal Stitcher sent to me. I painted it with white, tan, stormy gray, and a little celery green to give it just such a lovely, lovely patina. And there at the top is the wool, the felted wool ball that I made to use as a pincushion. And I love my thing. I was so disappointed with myself when I went up to Acorns and Threads this month. I forgot to take Thing with me because I wanted to show the ladies what I did. From all this roving, I did this. Right. We don't ever buy extra supplies, right? But this is my thing. Thank you, Stacy. I love my thing. Alrighty. I did go to First Thursday last week. I took with me my witch's hat pincushion that I'm working on. This is a pattern out of the Halloween special this year from Just Cross Stitch. This is what I am working on. I have the brim of the hat stitched, and I am working on the cone of the hat. I ran out of $37.99. I know I have more upstairs, but I need to get it to finish going around all the black here, and then I just have to finish in with the lightest gray there, finish this area, and then you make another brim of the hat, but you only do like the first 2 rows of this one. So it will be interesting to see if I can actually follow the directions for how to put my witch hat pincushion together. The other reason I took this magazine up with me, and I know Janine had other ones there, but I've already tagged all mine, you know, I've got all these post-it notes here, was because there were a couple other ones that I wanted to stitch in there. So I showed you the house that I want to stitch, Mr. Pine's Purple House. Well, it's not Mr. Pine's Purple House. It's this one. I did get my copy of the book. But I can't find it. It's here somewhere. I was rather amused with myself because when I got the book and I sat down and read it, I actually gave a fairly accurate rendition of a book that I read over 50 years ago. But I saw this I haven't even tried to find the ectoplasm fabric yet. I'm still going to try and look for that. But I figured while I was up at Acorns and Threads, I would look and see what fabrics I could find up there. I was looking in the linens and I came across this one, which is a Belfast linen. It's a 32 count. The colorway is avocado. And I know it's plenty big enough to do this piece. So I thought I might play with some dyes and see if I can create my own background for the house. But that was one of the purchases I got up at Acorns and Threads. The other purchase I got up there was a piece of light blue Aida, 16 count, for another project that I wanted to stitch in this book. So let me see if I can figure out what page it is on so that I can share it with you. It is this one down here called Going Batty. Now, I looked at it, and this one was made into a little pillow-shaped ornament. That's okay. That's cool. I like that. But that's not what I wanted to do with it. I learned a long time ago that any pattern that is the same size wide as it is high can be made into a biscornu. And that's what I wanted to do with this pattern. So again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some pictures where I showed it. I was stitching the bats, and I thought I had all the bats stitched, and then I realized that 3 of 4 of the side bats were not in the right spot. So I had to frog 3 bats. And instead of using the Kreinik that they called for, I used a petite treasure braid, which I had purchased up at Acorns and Threads. In this colorway. I love it. It's black with the orange over it and is just gorgeous. Cheryl actually helped me pick that out. I picked out 3 different oranges and it was the one I liked. I asked her which ones she liked. It was the first one she picked. It was like, done deal. So this is my version of Going Batty. I made it into a little biscornu. There's a corner bats. This is one of the offending bats that had to be frogged. These 3 of them. I used black DMC to do my backstitching around the design. You do need to backstitch around the design when you're making a biscornu because you use that backstitching to sew it together. And then I used that petite treasure braid to stitch them together. So again, I get the black and the orange on the corners going all the way around. Used a large orange button on that side. It rolled all the way under the chair. Okay, that's a first for me. I dropped my biscornu and it bounced underneath the chair and went all the way behind it, almost to the kitchen. But here is Going Batty from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition, made into a biscornu. So any pattern that is the same number of stitches high as it is wide, you can make a biscornu, and they're easy to put together. In fact, once you do one, they get easier. They do. I promise. Alrighty. Monday I went up to Cheryl's house. Stitching meet up there with Anna Stitch Roadies, Quilt Roadies, Woolly Mammoth, Janine, the owner of Acorns and Threads, Heather, Punky Pearls, Cheryl, one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies. We were in the hen house and we were stitching. And what I took with me to stitch up there was this. I was working on doing the back stitch around there, but I also took, where's my cover page? It's always the last one you look at. My Halloween balcony. I love this. I'm working down on the door, and the colors are absolutely gorgeous, but you have to pay attention to what you're doing. So this is where I am at on my Halloween balcony. I have been coming down and stitching a lot of the purple down here. This is the door frame. Can I do both of them side by side? So it's the door frame that I'm working on. I love it. And then I came down and I worked a little bit on the side here, and I'm coming over to where there is a shelf with a candle on it. I've got my owl finished and backstitched. I absolutely love this. Cannot wait to get it done. I will be taking it down to the local frame shop here in Silverton, which is Silverton Art and Frame, and having them frame it for me, because when you love something as much as I love this one, I'm gonna spend a little money, and I figure I might as well do it now because I've got 261 days until I'm retired, and then I won't have any money. If I tell myself that now and I do have money, I'm ahead, right? I did some stitching on my Alphonse Mucha, but I don't feel like getting up and setting up her to show you. Filling in the center of her dress. On my last video, when I was showing the picture of the other one that I have here in the house, I made the comment that he painted those in, I said 1903 or 1906. I was wrong. He painted these in 1899. I love Alphonse Mucha. You know, I didn't really know him until my daughter chose one of his pieces, one of his paintings for me to stitch. I had found a website called Mystic Stitch, and if you like artwork that you can stitch, this site is great because they have taken so many different types of art and converted them into cross-stitch patterns. And they are really, really good quality patterns too. I wanted to stitch something for my daughter, and I told her to go on this site and pick out 4 or 5 different designs that she liked. And when I looked at them and I saw that she had chosen an Alphonse Mucha, I knew that was the one that I had to stitch. I had fallen in love with Art Nouveau women from Maxfield Parrish. Loved his work. And I think I was actually looking for his work in cross stitch and couldn't find anything when I came across Mystic Stitch. And since then I've gone to Mystic Stitch twice. I've also gone to Cross Stitch Collectibles twice for my Alphonse Mucha patterns. I love his work. And the more I stitch them, the more I learn about him. I've watched videos on YouTube. I've watched Rick Steves' video when he was in the Czech Republic, because that's where the Alphonse Mucha Museum is at. And oh my gosh, bucket list. Definitely a bucket list. I've watched videos, interviews with his son talking about his father and how he did his artwork, and these images that I've been stitching were the ones that paid the bills, but they were not what he loved doing. And it's just fascinating to learn more about this artist that I didn't know when I stitched the first piece. Okay. Last night when I finished my biscornu, I went and pulled out Boo. This is Boo. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. This is Hector, Hortense, and Herschel, Grandmama Wilhelmina, because I said so. And this is where I am at with them now. I came in last night and stitched from about here up, finished the banner up here, finished stitching this pumpkin, the bat, the baubles, came down here. This is Herschel's hair and the pupils of his eyes, which right now I think look rather funny. I'm now coming in and I am working on stitching the frame that he's holding up in front of him. I think that this is so cute, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with it when it's done. I'm thinking I may take it to somebody and have them make a bag out of it for me, because it's just fabulous. I love it. So, I think that's everything that I have to share. I want to go back and address the comments from my last video again. Again, thank you very much for commenting. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for watching the video. I got a lot of support from you, and I really, really, really do appreciate it. My surgery to have my appendix removed is October 10th, 2 months from now. I'm still not feeling the best, but I'm getting closer every day, and I can make it. Questions that were brought up by the comments. Why is it taking so long to get to surgery? I don't have any PTO, paid time off, to use between now and the end of September. And if I take time off, I will lose my benefits. I discussed this with my doctor. He told me the concerns that he had about me waiting, but he never said, you have to do this now. And as long as he hasn't said that, and he knows that I understand what the risks are, if I get a fever, I am supposed to go straight to the emergency room. If the pain gets as bad as it was when right prior to my appendix rupturing, I go straight to the emergency room. It's less than 5 minutes from my house. I feel punky most days. Some days I ache more than others, but I'm fine. I can make it till then. I know I can do this. So thank you to everybody who gave me so much support and told me to just take care of myself for right now and not worry about getting videos out on a regular basis. Thank you. That means the world to me. It really, really does. This community has just been one of the best things I ever became a part of. And I want to say thank you to everybody who watches my videos, who likes my videos, who subscribes to my videos. I want to say thank you to the ladies up at Acorns and Threads, to the stitch groups up there. I want to say thank you to the friends that I've made through this community, either because they follow me on my videos or they follow me on Instagram. You all have made my world so much better, and I want to say thank you for being there for me. Until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye. Someone asked me on Instagram if I would do a flip through of the journal that I made. So I'm up here in the library. I got my craft table cleaned off. I covered it with some of the fabrics that I used to cover this journal, and I thought I would do a quick flip through for those who are interested in it. This journal is the first one of this type that of this style that I've ever made. It has a 3-inch spine. The basis of the cover is made from a paper grocery bag, and it is covered with a layer of Harry Potter Daily Prophet fabric, which is then covered with the denim. The lace over there is what I used for the spine. I grunged the lace up using Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks and water. The inside, I used a bandana. So, like I was saying, this has a 3-inch spine on it. There are 3 signatures inside. And each of the signatures is made from another paper bag, gift size bag. This journal, I've learned a lot of things along the way. I've learned that when you're doing a hidden spine, which is what I did here, there's a piece of cardboard underneath where the spine goes, but it's on the back side of the bandana. The first time I put it together, I had the cardboard so that I could see it here, and so I had to pull it out and take apart the signatures that I put in there and redo it the correct way. Then I thought I would add some lace up here at the top because my fabric didn't quite meet up at the top. And instead of measuring from the corner to where the spine is at, I measured my lace all the way over to where the signatures start, so it actually is part of the inside spine. I did the same thing on the back. Anyway, this is the first signature in here. It is made from a cardboard bag from a shop here in town called Beloved Cheesecake. It was the right size, and I thought, why not make a signature cover? So this is my first signature here. I have included in this some printable digitals from Luise Heinzl. This is her Smoky Florals. I have included papers from Pam at the Paper Outpost. She sells what are called fundels, which is a bundle of fun, and it's a variety of different papers and whatnot. I have made some tags which I've been playing with and just tucked them in here and there. This is the side of the paper bag. I folded it over and glued and sewed it down so that I have a pocket. I shared this little card here that I had made on Instagram. If you want to see more about it, go check out Instagram. I turned it into a pocket on this side, so I have a little card there. And I used some roving, wool roving here for the lining of the kitty's box, and as my tag to pull out the little card that I have in there. This was me playing with some 1 layer of tissue from the inside of a napkin and stamping on it and decoupaging it down. This little pocket here comes from the cards that I got from Peggy at Acorns and Threads. These are some of her grandmother's cards, and there was 3 of them, so I have 1 in each of the signatures. I have it sewn on to the faux rice paper that I made, also using, this one I used the tissue from a pattern. The snippet strip that I made a while back, I have used it in various places throughout this book so far. Right here, it is a pocket on the side so I can tuck something in there. This is one of the pages from Pam at the Paper Outpost, her fundels. Some more of the Smoky Floral digital print. A Starbucks bag. This is also from Pam's fundel package. And then this is another belly band I made from some paper that I was playing with using Distress Oxide inks. And this is actually the center of the first signature. I received a text from Anna. She said Cheryl wanted my address, and so I replied to her that my address was the Wicked Witch of the Desk, my street in Silverton, Oregon. As soon as I got this package, I knew I had to use this as the center for a signature. So it's the center of my first signature. And up here where Cheryl's return address is, I've covered it out too, so that nobody looking at this can see anything they shouldn't be seeing. Coming into the back half of the first signature, I made the Starbucks bag into an open pocket on that side, the Smoky Florals print, some fundel paper. This is mixed media paper that I was playing around with. Some of the pockets that you see were made out of this too, just a lot of stamping and inking done on them. This is some more of the snippet strip, making a little pocket down here. The faux rice paper. This is this is the back of my craft paper. The Smoky Florals, and the back of the first signature. In the center signature, I used another paper bag. This one was smaller. This was a gift that I received from my daughter and granddaughters, and my daughter had written G Mama, which is grandmama. So I took a embossing pen, went over her writing, and used copper embossing powder and highlighted that so that I can see her writing very clearly on the front of the center cover. This is more of the Smoky Floral digital print, just a piece of scrapbook paper. On the inside of this one, I tried making bubbles. I had watched Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, and she was showing how to use water, ink, or acrylic paints and soap to create bubbles to put them on your pages to get a print of them. And I love how that turned out. This is just an envelope that's in here to create a pocket. I have another pocket inside there. I have a pocket here. More of the fundel paper. This paper I got from Vicky, Stitch and Button. She had sent me a variety of papers to use for my journaling, so I included one in here. This is the bottom half of the bag that we received at last year's Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. And I thought, I'd torn the top off or something, but I thought it would make a perfect little pocket to add in there. Some more of the Smoky Florals digital. This was a project that I had seen someone do on YouTube. I tried to recreate it. I don't like it so much, but that's okay. I have ideas for either working over it or just pretending it's not there. I have an idea for what to do on the back of this page because I didn't realize that when I embossed on the other side that it was going to come through, so I know how to cover that. This is the center of this signature. I had gone to Craft Warehouse to get a frame made, and when I picked it up it was wrapped with this black paper, but what I liked about it is that on the edge they printed my last name, and I thought, I have to use that in my journal. So this is the center of the center signature. More of paper. This paper just came out of packaging in an Amazon box. More of the Smoky Floral digital. The other half of the bag. The paper from Vicky with a little pocket I made down here. More of the fundel paper, more of my snippet roll. Here's another one of Peggy's grandmother's pockets. This one has a rose on it, and if you have been... We're having road construction done outside our house, and I'm trying to get them to save my rose for me. So this rose is kind of important to me. This is another belly band I made, playing with some more tissue paper and stamping. More of the Smoky Florals, and the back. Again, this is the side of the bag that I made into a little pocket for a tag that I made. So this is the last signature, and again, it is made from a paper bag, a gift size bag, another gift from my daughter, and the name of the store was Desperado, which is one of my favorite songs from the Eagles, so I definitely had to use that. Another playing around with tissue paper and the paper from napkins and stamping on them, and then stamping on a piece of cardstock and putting it over them so it looks like my butterflies here actually have some definition to them. More of the smoky florals. This paper here, I don't know how well you see it on the screen. I can kind of sort of see it, but it feels very textured and it looks very textured here. That's because this was another one of the pages that I tried doing that bubble technique, and I love the way it turned out here, but I'm really tickled with the way it turned out here. This is more of the mixed media paper that I've used, another corner tuck that I've made, another card that I made. I think this is a piece of paper from Vicky. More of the smoky floral. This is some paper that I coffee dyed myself. This was a part of a bag that Vicky sent to me. So I took the idea from the Starbucks bag and I created this by sewing up the one edge and cutting the opening there so I have a pocket here. This is more of the fundel paper. This is the center of the last signature. And I think this is my favorite page of all. This was sent to me from Lori, textilist. It is an image from a calendar. I didn't want the calendar to show up so much on the back, so I went over it with white acrylic paint. You can still see the dates down here because on this side it's upside down. On this side you still see the pincushion. I left that on purpose. But this image right there, I absolutely love it. And one of the things that I had seen on several people who make journals of this style on a regular basis is that they number their journals. So since this is my first one, right down here I have an AW1. So this is my very first journal of this style. I'm tickled with it. Some more of the fundel paper. This is the other piece of that bag that I made from the paper that Vicky gave me. I used some of my snippet here and made another pocket. More of my coffee dyed paper, which I made into a larger pocket. The smoky floral images. Paper from Vicky with another pocket from the snippet roll. Another one of Peggy's grandmother's, the fronts from one of her cards with one of my tags in there. This one had two little holes up here at the top. So I took a hole punch and I punched two more and I did an overemphasized cross stitch in the corner there. Here's some more of the bubble paper. Some more of the smoky floral images. This is the back of the last signature. Again, this is the side of the paper bag and I used it to make a pocket. This was some craft paper that I was using and I used it to make a lot of tags and such so that I would have consistency going throughout this journal. This is the very back, and this was another learning lesson for me. I had another pocket that I had made out of a paper bag, and I glued it in there because it fit perfectly from here to here. But again, I forgot to take into account that the spine ends right there. So when I glued that pocket in, I couldn't close my journal. So I had to tear it out, which left glue and everything all over it. So I went back and I took some of my Harry Potter fabric and covered the ugly glue foobar. And I made a little ruffle over here out of some more of it. I had a piece of perforated paper sitting on my desk, so I used it and created a little pocket, and I was just playing around and put my initials and some Algerian stitches up here, and it's now just a little pocket for a tag. So that is my journal that I made. I hope you enjoyed the flip through, and I will see you on my other videos.